Alright. I wonder if it brought over my save files. Oh, no, it didn't. Okay, dope. We'll scroll through this. If anything is too loud or if there's only audio in one ear, please tell me. I had to rush to get this set back up again. Because I don't usually use this computer for streaming. What can I say? Just not used to it. Alright. We'll just do the same thing we did last time. We'll make it Lewis again. Lewis. I mean, it's Lewis, but it's also just me giving my own personal responses to Mr. Cove. He give me the floofy hair. Oh god, when I saw the hair back for a minute, I thought that was a beard, and I was like, wait, aren't I supposed to be a small child? Whoops. Alright. Here we go. Fake beard. It's so we can sneak into the movies. Not that the movies are a thing now, but in this world, I'm sure they have movies, you know? Necklace, hats. Okay. There we go. Try and get us back to where we are. I feel bad. I didn't get to see who that person who followed was, and they followed right as I closed the stream. Alright. We'll do it this time. Let's skip through all of this. You didn't get why they said hi, but you said hi back. Lots of people to talk to. You were interested. Folded your arms. Alright. So, do you live around here? What's your name? You looked the man up and down, taking in his tan skin and relaxed appearance. At least his clothes were relaxed. The way he was acting wasn't. He had sharks on his shorts and a stingray tattoo, and you wondered if he was obsessed with the ocean or something. While you made your assessment, he looked at you expectantly, waiting for an answer to his question. I live right there. My name is Lewis. No, don't tell a stranger where you live. That's a terrible idea. Oh, Christ. Oh, God, what should I say to this man? I do not know this man. I do not know this man. I'll say... What'll I say to him? I will say, yeah, I live here. I'll be ambiguous. That's great! He looked happy to hear it, giving you a broad smile. Oh, the $20 bill. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a clean $20 bill. It crinkled in his hand as he held it up to you. Even more confused than before, you looked back at him.
Well,
could you do me a favor? Nothing bad. Sorry, I should have... Let me start over. He cleared his throat and stood up straighter. From where you were standing, it just made him look creepier. I have a son. His name is Cove, who's about your age. Cove, that seemed like a strange name for an actual living person. Yeah, this dude is definitely obsessed with water. Also, maybe not the best dad with how bad he is at giving punishments, but he's doing his best. We appreciate it. Well, I'll go with this one. Cove, that seemed like a strange name for an actual living person to you. But definitely the kind of name someone like this guy would give their kid. We moved in across the street, see? He gestured toward the house that had been empty for a year, his watch catching the late afternoon sunlight and reflecting off the walls. The gigantic for sale sign was finally gone. You must be Louis Lomond, right? I met your moms earlier, and they told me you were 8, just like him, so... He shook the $20 bill to bring it back to your attention, a hopeful smile tilting his lips at the corners. Can you try to be friends with the boy? Just give it a chance, and you can keep this. He's a good kid. You'll like him.
Do you mind?
But you gotta keep it a secret too, okay? It wouldn't be friendly to say his dad sent you. Oh, this dude. Just gonna pay a random kid to be friends with your kid? I remember the first time I was playing this, I was like, oh my god, this guy. I do appreciate that the game is, like, there's so many answers you pick that the game remembers that I appreciate that so much. Like, I said no to the bills the first time I got this. I said, no, I don't want your goddamn money. And in a later event, the game obviously remembers you did that. And, like, I can't imagine how painstaking it was to have to, like, do all the programming to get all of this nailed down. It's great. You eyed the man. Yeah, I would feel sorry for Cove. I would be like, wow, geez. This definitely wasn't the normal way kids made friends. You knew that. What do you say? Want to make a deal? I don't want your money. I don't want your money. You ran away. Don't take things from strangers. It's true. I don't want the money. No, thank you. Sorry. He deflated enough to notice, but not completely.
Are you sure?
Are you sure? It won't be so bad. Even if it's just for the summer, that'd be enough. That only made it sound more strange to you. What does it lasting for the summer matter? When it was clear his initial strategy wasn't going to fly, he tucked the bill back into a back pocket, and changed the request. I get it. You don't have to. Would you be more comfortable with he and I coming by for a normal visit? No money involved. You're back. Yes, I'm back, and hopefully this time it won't be so terribly laggy. I went and I got on my big computer here. I know the mic's gonna sound worse, but hopefully it won't lag to hell and back now. Fingers crossed. Okay, so what do I say? Do I want to meet him? You have to ask my moms. You don't answer. I'll be chill about it. You know, I don't know this kid. I don't know how badly I want to know him, but yeah, you can do that. His smile got bigger again. His eyes crinkled at the sides. I'll bring him by tomorrow. I wanted him to meet and greet with the neighbors today, but... well, I don't know where he's gotten off to. He laughed when he said that, but with the way his face looked, you thought he actually wanted to cry. If you see him, can you tell him to come on home? He's got a pink cast and glasses. You can't miss it. Sure thing. This definitely wasn't the normal way kids made friends. You knew that, but you were still going to help. The man smiled and reached out to pat you on the head, paused before doing so, then pulled his hand away instead. Yeah, probably not a good idea to just be, like, patting the heads of random children you don't know. Just gonna go out on a limb and say that. Alright. Your moms are already checking around for me. Such a thoughtful group you are. Now I better go look too. Can't put everyone else to work while I keep sitting here. I thought he might come back, and that's not what's important. I have to go. Thanks again, Lewis. So much. He jogged off down the street without another word. You decided to check the hills behind your house. Ah, yes. It's where we meet him for the first time. Step 1, first sight. Like I said before, I have played this beginning bit and a couple of the little stories from the start. But I'll answer them. I'll try and answer the story ones differently as I get to them to have something to react freshly to. The chirping of crickets in the tall grass greeted you, quiet and familiar. From the top of the hill, you could see the ocean. As you walked, you listened to the crash of the waves on the shore and the seagulls squawking as they settled down for the night. Yeah, I like the stories. You love to hear stories about the sea, about the merfolk and sea serpents you imagined living far beneath the waves. Sometimes you could almost convince yourself you had seen the flash of a shiny mermaid's tail in the distance. You took in a deep breath. You wanted to try and relax and couldn't. I really do I really do like the writing in this game so far, what I've seen of it. It's in this step specifically, it really does capture like the sort of childlike mindset, because I remember being like that as a kid. You could convince yourself that all kinds of ridiculous, fantastical things were happening, and I appreciate that they really sort of captured that in this. You weren't sure what, but something told you that you weren't alone, so you glanced around. Aw, it's the lad. There was a boy sitting at the top of one hill, almost completely hidden within the long grass and white flowers surrounding him. His head was buried in his knees, staring ahead by himself. For whatever reason, probably just that he wasn't paying attention, he hadn't noticed you yet. You watched him a minute longer, feeling a little bit like you'd found a deer in the wild. Though deer didn't have wavy eyebrows. I gotta admit, when I saw his character design for the first time, that was like the thing I noticed. He got some wavy eyebrows, that lad. But what specifically don't deer have? Well, I suppose they don't have any of these things. But let's go with... deer don't have green hair. But this new boy did. You watched as it fluttered softly around his face in the breeze. After a few more seconds, you took a step forward, then another. And then he glanced your way. His aquamarine eyes reflected the light of the moon. You stopped, raising a hand to acknowledge him and show you weren't scary. Aw, aquamarine, that's my birthstone. Hi, hey Space Cadet, are you lost? Hey Space Cadet. With a start, he jumped to his feet, his hands balling into fists at his side. Aw. He crying. Aw. He didn't say anything, just stared at you in a strange way. He'd been crying. There were traces of tears on his cheeks and his knees, soaking the hem of his shorts, and his eyes were still shining with a few more. You'd obviously caught him off guard. His pink cast seemed to glow in the twilight, though when he caught you staring at it, he hid his arm behind his back. I still don't know why he has that. In all of the ones I'd played, he's never said. Something the man earlier had said stuck out to you. Cove? Eyes wide, he studied you. How'd you know that? I'm all-knowing. I'm all-knowing. That's a lie. Tell the truth. Okay, your dad told me who you were.
Oh.
Oh. So, is this your hill? He gestured with his uninjured arm to the patch of grass surrounding you, his face falling at the prospect. I can leave if it is. Yep. You can't own a hill. Why not? How could you? You just do. I had a hill back home. Well, this still isn't mine. Oh. He sat back down with a thump, resting his chin on his knees again. Curious about the strange new boy with the odd dad, you sat on the patch of grass next to him. The pure white flowers that covered this hill rocked back and forth gently as the stars twinkled above. The way they dotted the sky made them seem like flowers too. The night wind was cool as it traveled over the ocean and up the hill, chasing away the heat from the afternoon sun. It's so cute. Why are you here? Just a man directly. Why are you here? A quiet hiccup escaped Cove as soon as you asked the question. Almost like they'd never stop. Almost as if they'd never... oh my goodness, I cannot read. Almost like they'd never stopped. His tears started up again with a vengeance. My parents... they don't want to live together with me anymore. The tears fell fast and heavy over his flushed cheeks, sticking to his dark lashes. My mom made my dad leave, and he took me with him, and now we have a house here, and I want to go home. The outburst took you off guard. By the time he was done wailing, Cove's chest was heaving with exhaustion. He sniffled and removed his glasses, wiping at his eyes with the back of his hand before he put them back on again. I hate this place. I want my real life back. I want my mom. I'm sorry. Cove. Don't be sad. It's okay, man. Parents get divorced. It happens, bud. I get you. It's alright. Oh. Poor little guy. Oh. Let's see. Your dad seems kind of nice. You'll like it here. You just have to get used to it or stop crying. Just really demanding stop crying. I'll give him a sympathetic I'm sorry. He slipped his hand underneath his glasses and pressed his fingers against his eyelids. Cove wound himself up again for another long crying fit. This poor lad. This poor little lad, you know? I do feel really bad for him, because you can tell he really does not want to be here. You felt bad for him being forced to come here with no choice. Yeah, exactly. You couldn't imagine what it would feel like to live with only one of your moms, but it must be pretty hard. But from way off in the distance, you heard your parents. Lewis!
Cove?
Cove! Kids, where did you go? Cove looked at you, tears still clinging to his cheeks. Don't tell them we're here.
I want to go home.
I don't want to go back to that house. I want to go home. You can handle it. You have to go. Don't worry so much. Sorry, I have to. It'll be okay. I'll give him the you can handle it. You can handle it. And even if you can't, he's your dad, right? Yeah, he is. Dusting the grass off your pants, you stood up. So you didn't come here by yourself, or with a stranger. He's got to take care of you no matter what. Slowly, Cove stood up with you, still looking a little reluctant. His dad's voice rang out again. Cove, can you hear me? He looked toward the sound of his dad's voice, silent, then turned away while rubbing his not bandaged arm.
Sorry.
Sorry, I still don't want to go. I'll call out myself. Wanting to go home, you raised your own voice. Over here! Cove's face soured. He said nothing, but his thoughts were probably pretty nasty at that moment. Get over it, buddy. You can't run away from your problems, Cove. It won't help you. The trio of parents appeared over the curve of the hill. Instantly, all their eyes landed on you, and they rushed over. Both of your moms were at your side in a split second, faces filled with worry. The moms are so sweet. They're so adorable, and I love them so much. Lewis, you're here after all. We've been at the park to check for Cove, then heard what happened earlier when you met the new neighbor. I thought you might have gone off further away. No, we were just sitting in the grass. Why is everyone acting like this is such a big thing? We're okay, don't worry. We'll say... No, we were just sitting in the grass. Thank God you're both fine. Were you two having fun out here? You looked over at Cove, who was wiggling against his dad's tight hug and pushing at his arms. I shrugged last time, because I was like, I don't know, he's whatever. But I'll say yeah, I like him. You nodded, smiling slightly. Finally letting go of his squirming, scowling son, Cove's dad turned to the three of you.
That's a relief.
Thanks very much for finding him. I really don't know this neighborhood. Good thing Lewis knows this whole area so well. Absolutely. We should be getting home now. It's been a long day for us all. Say goodbye, Cove.
Bye.
Bye. The two of them walked off into the darkness, heading toward the neighborhood. You watched Cove's bright pink cast until it disappeared. Tell you what, we'll have a proper playdate tomorrow, okay? Your new friend's dad wanted to bring him by to see you and Lizzie. How does that sound? Sure, can I show him my stuff?
Of course.
Of course. And okay. Both of your moms laughed, the sounds overlapping into a warm, familiar chorus. Mommy put her arm around your shoulder and led you toward the path. Satisfied and more than a little ready to go to bed after your long, exciting day, you followed them home. Nervous indifference. Is there any way to get anything other than nervous indifference for the first bit? I do wonder. I mean, it makes sense. It's a sort of nervous situation. Let's see. Early the next morning, you were poking at your food, eating it slowly. Your sister Lizzie had run out earlier to go play, but you'd stayed put. You move the blue things. Oh, really? Here, let me go back to it. I didn't actually know that. Oh, really? Ha! See, I didn't realize that the first time I played, so I'd just been playing with him as on the lowest setting. And I was like, man, he's really indifferent to me. I wonder why. See, I don't play games. I don't understand how things work, and I don't listen. I've been playing on the lowest setting. Oh, that's funny. Hell yeah, hell yeah. Relaxed fondness, direct fondness, direct fondness, direct indifference. just like not giving a shit, relaxed indifferent, nervous indifferent. You even read the tutorial. Hey, see, they did it. I did the same thing the first time too. Yeah, exactly. See, you get it. You get it. Yeah, I read the tutorial, but the thing is, reading and reading comprehension are two separate things, and I can do one of them, but I can't do the other one. Yeah, I know you played direct indifference, Alex, because you wanted to do that on purpose, though, right? I will go with relaxed fondness, I think, because I'm cool with him. I think he's fine. Relaxed indifference. I like the idea of direct indifference, just being like, I don't like you. Jeez. I'm not gonna aim for a crush. I just want to be friends with the lad. So we're gonna go with, let's see, nervous fond. No, I'm not a nervous person. Lewis isn't a nervous person. We'll go with relaxed fondness. Cause what's one up? Direct fondness. Then we'll go with relaxed fondness. Yeah. That's funny. I really was curious because I'm like, wow, is the whole first part of this just like really just him being cold and indifferent to you the whole time? I mean, I was still enjoying it, so I think that speaks volumes for the fact that you can really do this on like the lowest setting, and it's still been really good. Well, good. Then this will be all new reactions from me from here on. At the breakfast table the next morning, you finished your food faster than usual. Oh my god, it's just immediately different. That's cool. Your sister Lizzie had run out earlier to go play, but you'd stayed put. Today, just like your moms had promised, Cove was coming over to hang out. Excited to see your new friend again, Lewis? Yeah, I am.
How sweet.
How sweet. I'm so happy he's moved in.
Okay.
With that said, are you done with your breakfast? I don't know. Am I? You gestured down to the empty dish in front of you, raising your eyebrows dramatically.
Okay.
Okay, we see. Good job. He should be here soon. You clean up. Cleanup began, and then on cue there was a knock. It was hesitant, like the person wasn't sure they were in the right place. Still loud, though. We need to get a more obvious doorbell. I know. Lewis, could you get it? Wiggling out of your chair without really pushing it back, you made your way to the door. Oh, that's so fucking accurate for how I would get out of chairs as a kid. I did the thing where I would just like slide out of the side of it. It's less effort, okay? Hey, Loman family, thanks for having us. Mr. Holden, as your moms have called him, and his son were here. Cove looked different in the bright light of your living room, and when he wasn't crying. With his dad standing in front of him and Mom and Mommy behind you, you and Cove looked at each other. Pleased to see your new friend again, you smiled at Cove. He smiled back with some hesitation. Oh, it's just immediately cuter, wow. I really thought that you had to that it would just adjust automatically, and that you could adjust it manually if you wanted. It didn't clue into me that you actually just pick it off the bat. That's good. That's good. Let's go play in my room.
Okay.
Okay.
Take care.
Let us know if you need anything, you two. Have fun, kids.
See you.
See you later, son. Play nice. Thanks, Dad. You led him to your room, puffing out your chest a little bit at the sight of your treasures. There were lots of stuffed animals, a cool bed, a window to look out. It was a really great room. You hadn't had anyone to show it to in a while, but you were really proud of it. He leaned in a little closer to one of your drawings on the wall. I like this. I drew that! Me! I drew that! Kay scoots away on toddler bike drinking juice box. Exactly. Exactly. Cool. You smiled at him. You were proud of that particular piece of art, and you were glad he noticed it. He turned to look around the room a little more, studying the books on your desk and the pictures on the wall. Glad for the company. You hoped he liked your room. You started to feel a bit nervous. Let's go with the atmosphere was kind of awkward, because that's what it's like when your parents put you together with a child as a friend and or as a child, and just assume that you're going to be friends with them. You wanted to say something, but you didn't know what, so you let him keep looking. Then his eyes landed on the tiny box of beach things you'd collected, tucked away by your door. He took a step towards it before hesitating and pointing at it instead. What's that? A hoard of stuff I found on the beach.
Oh.
Do you have any driftwood in there? Dragging the box into the middle of the room, you and Cove flopped down next to it. I think so. Yeah, see? You gestured to a piece at the bottom, still covered with specks of sand.
Neat.
Neat. This is a good collection. You get the sense from the tone of his voice that he wasn't just saying it to be nice, or to be like, Shiloh. He actually meant it. Oh, Shiloh. He really is the same in this game as he is in XOXO Droplets. He's just a little bit more young. Shiloh, Shiloh, Shiloh. Not a fan of Shiloh myself. He is pretty cute in this game, though. I can't deny that. Oh, right. I almost forgot. Shiloh is going to be here today. Shiloh? Lizzie's friend. Or, her #1 fan, I guess? Do I have to see him? It should be okay. I mean, he's Lizzie's friend, not mine, but, Come on, check out my shells some more. I found this one under a big piece of seaweed that had washed ashore, and you pulled out seashell after seashell, explaining where you'd gotten each one and holding them up against the light. There were big ones, small ones, pink, purple, and orange. Most of them you washed off in the bathroom sink when you brought them home, cleaning off the sand. The collection was so huge and varied that you had lots of fun stories to tell for all of them. Shiloh, he's something. Yes, he's something. Oh, Shiloh, he's just something. God. Apparently fascinated either by the stories or by the shells themselves, Cove listened with what looked like the full force of his attention. Like when you almost got pinched by a hermit crab while searching for shells, and after watching him scuttle back into the ocean, you found another empty shell that was almost a twin to his home. It was a new experience to be the center of such dedicated focus. But Cove hadn't been mean to you, so you didn't mind. You smiled at him every now and then while showing him your collection. Kids, come down to the living room. You could tell the idea was making him unhappy, but Mommy wasn't giving you much of a chance to hang around. Cove hadn't been like this meeting you. You guessed it was because he thinks you found each other by accident, not that a parent made it happen. Mr. Holden might be right that telling Cove his dad was part of that would be a bad idea. I've seen the scene where you can choose to tell him. I did tell him. Oh boy, that bit's dramatic. Maybe we'll see that again today. Before you knew it, you'd both been escorted downstairs and deposited in the living room, ready for Shiloh's visit. The two of you sat side by side on the floor of your home's entryway. I brought the box of shells. I want to keep looking at them. Great. Bust it open. Thought that said bust something else. Anyways, we can keep looking while we wait for Shiloh. Cove reached in and pulled out a big orange shell. Oh. Like he hadn't spoken aloud yet, he turned to you and held it up, his eyes shining. I think this one is the best of them. You can take it. Cove looked at you in surprise, his eyes going wide. Really? Sure, you like it a lot, right? Uh-huh. But I don't want to take it from you. It's okay. You got the impression he was hesitant to accept something because he didn't know you very well. You let it go. Okay. You didn't want to pressure Cove too much. It was supposed to make him happy, not nervous. Plus, Cove was your neighbor now. Maybe you could give it to him another time. The two of you were still sitting on the floor looking through your collection of beach findings when the doorbell finally rang. Cove jumped, startled by the sound. Since the person hadn't knocked, you figured it was probably Shiloh. He knew where to look for that. Lizzie's friend? You nodded, but that didn't seem to make Cove feel any better. It was already obvious that Cove didn't hide his feelings very well. You could tell what he was thinking right away. This isn't a good idea. He'll be alright. He's here, we can't tell him to leave. He's at our only door, and if you go upstairs, he'll find you. Cove glanced around the room, his eyes wide, and finally paused with his gaze locked onto the back of the house. I can go out the window. He was already walking towards it. Scrambling to think of something to say, you stepped forward, then paused. Did you want to break your other arm? Ooh, harsh. Shiloh is the least scary person alive. Well, that depends on which universe we're in. Cheer up, Shiloh's gonna like you. That's not comforting. Please don't get hurt. I'll come with you. Good idea, let's go. I'm kind of curious what happens if I'm like, yeah, let's peace out, so... You know what, why not? I'll come with you. Hurry, they'll see where we're going. He glanced back at you, then nodded. The two of you made your way to the window together. Oh my god, you actually leave out the window? Oh my god, that's amazing. I didn't do this last time, so I didn't know you could do it. It wasn't much of a distance to clamber out, but by the time you landed gently in the bushes, you looked up to see that Cove was already taking off away from the house. He was fast, but you knew you could outrun him if you had to. He was not that fast. You knew you could outrun him if you had to. Oh, I can decide if he's fast or slow. He was not that fast, but neither were you. At that speed, you weren't sure if you could go fast enough to reach him. Yeah, I think you mean effective. Yes, exactly. He was fast, but you knew you could... You know, I'll give Cove the benefit of the doubt. I'll say that he's a fast lad, given that he's been spending most of this running away from people, so I'll say he was fast, but I'm faster. Cove! You ran as fast as your legs would take you, grass whipping around your ankles as you did so. Cautiously, Cove slowed to a halt and looked back at you. Where are you going? I don't know, somewhere else. I just don't want to see... Lewis! You looked back and saw Shiloh huffing down the hill after you, the backpack he clutched bouncing all around along the way. What are you doing? Can I come? He must have seen you leaving out the window and followed behind. God damn it.
Hi.
Oh, hi. Are you Cove?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm Shiloh. Okay. Yep. Are we going back, or are we gonna play outside? Shiloh's eyes moved between you and Cove. The smile remained strong on his face. He's got a punchable face. It got a tiny frown from Cove in response. You were just grateful he hadn't asked why you had been running away. Your Shiloh voice is how I imagine you talking to me. That's me talking to you, Alex. It's just, hi, how's it going? Constantly. That's how you hear me in your head when we talk. Okay, cool. Good to know. Inside, we left the box on the floor. Right, my shells and stuff. We have to make sure they're okay.
Okay.
Okay. With Shiloh trailing behind you, you and Cove headed back toward the house. The plan for the afternoon, at least as far as you were concerned, was to sit and look at the beach things some more. You weren't really in the mood to do much of anything else, especially if Cove was having fun. Hey, check out this scallop shell I found. Cool, right? It's a pretty cool color. Kind of like my cast. The beautiful glittering pink did look a little bit like the wrap around his arm. Pink is a nice color. That hat is dope. Oh, hi, Travis. Whose hat? My hat or Shiloh's bucket hat? I'm going to assume you're talking about my hat and say thank you very much. Oh, yes, my hat. Okay, good. Funny thing about this hat, actually. This is the single piece of clothing I get the most compliments on of anything that I own. Like, this hat has gravity. I swear to God, I went out to get groceries the other day. I was at the deli just getting some, like, lunch meat. And the dude was like, that's a dope hat. And I was like, thank you. You are, like, the 30th person to tell me that. Everyone loves it. It's such a dope hat. Alright. Pink is a nice color. Okay. Cove is me. That hat was a bitch to draw when I did the doodle for your demo. I know, it's painful. I drew it once for the reference image, and it's like, you gotta sit there doing, like, this line, and then a line on the inside of that, and then a line on the inside of that one. It's great. Thank you again for drawing that image for my demo, especially on extremely short notice, because I didn't tell you until, like, the day of. It turned out fantastic, and I still love it to this day.
Oh?
Is it your favorite?
Not really.
What is?
Maybe green or blue. Might be yellow. That's too many colors. You gotta pick one, Cove, and stick with it, please.
Oh, those are all cool.
I guess.
I guess. Shiloh, stop kissing everyone's ass. Alright, let's see. There are better colors, just be an asshole. Well. Not sure how to deal with the sudden, more awkward silence. You look back at your shells. I'll just ignore them. No, it's valid to like more than 3 colors. Honestly, yes. It is valid to like more than 3 colors. I like more than 1 color. I don't have a set favorite. I like blue and purple. They're both good. I can't pick. Like usual, it didn't take long for Shiloh to get fidgety. Lizzie was his favorite. Without her around, Shiloh didn't seem to know what to do with himself. And Cove wasn't like your sister. He wasn't that much like you, either.
Is Lizzie coming back?
Is green your favorite color? If I were Jeremy, probably. Nah, I like blues and purples. Don't know.
Aw. Where'd she go?
I think she's at the beach, probably.
Oh, is she playing at her park?
Cove's eyes lit up at the mention of the park, and he looked towards you.
There's a park?
Yeah, but it's old.
Can you show me? I want to go.
He started getting up before you had even answered, and Shiloh jumped up beside him in excitement.
Really? You do too, right, Lewis? The park is fun.
I love it. No. I don't like leaving my room. The park is pretty great.
Yeah, it's right at the beach, so there's lots of fun things to do. And lots of sand.
It has a jungle gym and a bunch of swings.
That sounds like it'd be cool. So, are we going to find Lizzie?
I don't know. I never really wanted to see her. I just want to check the park out. Adrift without any direction, Shiloh finally turned to you. Okay. He perked up. Both boys wanted to go. It was only fair. Out we go. After getting permission from your moms, the 3 of you were ready to head out. I love the moms. They're so good. It was a short walk to the park. Lizzie had convinced your moms that it was so short, she should always be allowed to walk there by herself. When you found her, she was hanging out on the jungle gym, swinging back and forth. Well, she was hanging on the jungle gym, rather. Hey, Lizzie. Her face lit up when she saw you, her big brown eyes going wide.
Lewis, Shiloh. Hi!
She dropped to the ground and landed with a soft thud in the sand. In a split second, Shiloh had abandoned you two and scrambled over to stand by her. Oh, what a classic Shiloh thing to do. He's such a weasel. You were used to being left out when it was just the three of you, but now Cove was here. Yeah, now it's 2-on-2 even sides, Lizzie. Take that. You wondered if he would leave too. Aw. Ow. Simplo. Accurate. Accurate. Shiloh is a simp. Or is he? We'll never know, because he's Shiloh. Who's that?
It's Cove. He's new.
Hi.
I remember.
No, you don't. You literally just said, who's that? Whatever.
Hi, Cove. Welcome to my park. Nobody ever comes to play here, so this is where we get together.
She gestured widely with her arms as if to present the area to the newcomer. Without interrupting Lizzie's speech, Cove whispered in your ear, quiet enough that the others wouldn't overhear. I thought kids couldn't own places like parks. Or hills. Oh, turning my own words into a joke. I see. That made me upset when I played it. I was sad boy. Yes. Ugh. Cove, you can't... Don't leave me, man. Don't abandon everyone. Don't abandon me for everyone. You couldn't help but laugh a tiny bit. While Lizzie continued talking, you took the chance to kick off your shoes and wriggle your toes through the warm sand. Nice, huh? In this neighborhood, I'm the one who comes up with the ideas. You are?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I am.
Who else can handle the job?
Lizzie is the oldest.
By a lot. My mom said you're Lewis's age.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought so. I'm still the only one in this group with double digits. What about other kids?
Other kids?
There aren't any. We're the only kids here, and Shiloh is just visiting from another place. Not even tourists really bring their kids here. This is the land of ancients. Be careful that the oldies don't try to steal your youth.
Oh.
Oh. For a second, it looked like he might cry again. Is it possible to summarize what's going on in less than 3 sentences? Less than 3 sentences. Let's see. I live on a beach town with my sister and my 2 moms. The guy in green is the main love interest slash friend character of the story, and he is... he just moved here with his father. 3. He's... You said less than 3 sentences, but I'm gonna go with 3 sentences. He is a sad boy because his parents just got divorced, so he's kind of emo and upset about it, and he's my friend. I'm trying to be friends with him. This is a very cool visual novel that is very customizable to what you want. You can romance the character Cove, or you cannot. It's entirely up to you. What an absolute unit pulling that off in 3 sentences. I tried. I did my best. Green boy sad move. You help sad boy be not sad. Yes, see there you did it in 1 sentence. You got it. You got this. Green boy sad move. Our life. Subtitle: Green boy sad move. But something in his eyes shifted and he looked back at Lizzie.
What kind of old people? Like moms and dads or grandparents?
Grandparents who don't have kids. They hate kids.
Why? We haven't done anything.
Stop saying stuff like that. You're gonna upset him. Yeah, they're really bad. Only some of them don't like kids. I'll say only some of them don't like kids. You interjected quickly, hoping Lizzie wouldn't take things too far. Cove sniffled, his forehead creasing with worry. Lizzie was staring Cove down, but Cove wasn't even looking at her anymore. He didn't seem to care that she was there. He went into his own head. Shiloh was the next one to speak, completely unaware of the situation. Oh, Shiloh.
I met Lizzie and Lewis in school. You'll see tons of kids there once summer is over.
I don't want to go to a new school. I don't want summer to end. Shiloh looked down to the dirt. He hasn't had much luck striking up conversations with Cove.
I like summer vacation a lot too.
All the building tension in the air suddenly vanished when Lizzie laughed. At Shiloh's discomfort at how weird she thought at Shiloh's discomfort at how weird she thought Cove was at something else entirely you didn't really know, but she laughed, face scrunching up.
Okay.
Welcome to Sunset Bird Cove. Take a seat, put up your feet, and get used to it. You offered him a small smile, and that at least looked to reassure him some. For the rest of the summer, Cove was always there. You saw him more often than Shiloh, and on some days when she was in a bad mood or busy, you even saw him more than Lizzie. Busy Lizzie. He became a staple of your everyday life, the way the sun and lunch and the beach were. During your first summer together, you really liked Cove. He was a fun person to play with, and he seemed to like playing with you too. Of course, that was only the start of things. Ah yes, and I have all the DLCs. Thank you again to GB Patch for giving me the codes for that. Oh boy, what should we play? Now, I'm not sure how long I've been streaming for. It's only 11, so I have time. I do kind of want to try and see if I can find Jeremy. Of course, I can just stream this again some other time. But I believe Jeremy is adolescence. So I would have to skip ahead, but then I'd be skipping literally everything in this part of the story, so that's probably not a good idea. Of the one... Okay, which one of these have I done? I did that... I want to see what happens in the sleepover if you're not full of hatred for each other. Germboy shows up in step 2. Yes, that's right. Okay, he does. Well... I'm sure I'll stream this again some other time because this is a lot of fun. So I won't just immediately skip ahead to find Jeremy. We'll find him next time. Mushroom Fire, we'll try it next time. But yeah, I want to see what happens when I do these without me and Cove low-key hating each other. Because for anyone else who's just showing up later to this, I've played a bit of this on my own, and I didn't realize that you have to you pick your comfort level with Cove at the first at the first sliders. I just thought it was just showing you like how things were, so I played on like the lowest setting of fondness. It was like nervous indifference, so the whole time me and Cove just kind of low-key don't like each other. So I was like, man, he really doesn't like you in the first stage, only to realize that's not, I picked that by accident. How long will I be streaming? I'll probably stream for like at least another like 30 minutes, maybe an hour. I probably won't try to go for more than like another hour tops. We'll see how into it I get, because I don't want to wear out my voice too much, but I'm having a good time, so we'll be going for a bit still. Let's do sleepover, because, yeah, I want to know what it's like when Cove doesn't hate me. Let the good times roll, baby. Heck yeah, let's go. Let's fucking go, man. Hell yeah. All right, kids, we're done with dinner. Come to the table. That was a terrible read, but whatever. Your stomach grumbled right on time, as if it had heard your mom's words. You halted your game and looked over. Mom was almost done setting the table. She was walking around the mahogany wood in the process of putting down cutlery. Oh, we got a fancy table. Mahogany. Mommy was still in the kitchen, humming under her breath as she turned off the stove and put empty pots into the sink to wash. From behind you, Lizzie stirred, uncrossing her legs and standing up. She stretched her arms above her head. Finally, I'm ready to eat. Then she cast a sly glance in your direction. You recognize that look. Last one to the table is a rotten egg. I haven't... But it was too late. Lizzie had already bolted towards the kitchen. You tried to catch up to her. You stayed sitting. You yelled out to her. You threw a cushion at her. I tried to catch up to her the last time I played this, so I'm going to throw a cushion at her. Grabbing one of the cushions from the sofa, you threw it towards her. It hit her in the back of the legs, but it was too soft to do anything of real consequence. She merely brushed the attack off with a scowl. It was a short distance to the kitchen table. Lizzie managed to get there easily enough, slapping a hand over the wood. Mom moved just before Lizzie could bump into her. With an exasperated sigh, she resumed her work. I win again. You didn't win because you were racing by yourself. This is like true sibling stuff. No, I told you we were both racing. You're just so slow. I wasn't racing and you know it. That sounds like something a rotten egg would say. Lizzie grinned, her hands on her hips, then looked over your shoulder. Cove, you can be the tiebreaker. Was that a real race that I totally won? You blinked. You hadn't even noticed what he had been doing during this little event, which wasn't much. Oh, pardon me. You spotted Cove still on the floor. His legs were crossed beneath him, the arm with his cast resting in his lap. He looked at the two of you with a slight frown. It felt sort of strange seeing him here still so late. Tonight, Cove had come to your house for a sleepover. Your moms and his dad had planned it a few days ago. You were excited when your moms told you their idea. There was so much to do. You considered all the games you could play and other stuff you could do with Cove for days. And you even helped Mom search for the storage room for a sleeping bag and extra bedding to prepare for his visit. Cove pursed his lips at Lizzie's question, but he didn't respond. Maybe he was planning on ignoring her. Not that Lizzie would make it easy.
Come on.
Well, did I win or what?
No.
No. Oh, that's dope. He actually defends me now that we're friends. What? I don't think you won. How come? It's not my fault Lewis is slow. Cheating's cheating and cheaters never win.
You always pick his side.
You always pick his side. Ma. Cove snuck a shy peek at you before answering her. Aww. 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 Oh no, it's really cute. What did he do before? He was basically just really indifferent. He was like, I'm not gonna answer because I'm not a part of this. And Lizzie was all like, well, I'm saying you're a part of this, so pick. And he's like, no, I don't want to. Cove was just really, really sad in the other run. I pick him and he picks me. You're a couple of rotten eggs, then. That's enough. Nobody here is a loser or a rotten egg. You're each farm fresh. Which is a sentence I never thought I'd say.
All right.
Emo Cove. Accurate, though. He was just super sad. Cove was just really sad, upsetty spaghetti, didn't want anything to do with me. Although, like, I'll admit, it was actually kind of cute. All I heard was couple. What's up? We got called a couple of rotten eggs. A couple of good friends. We're just a couple of good friends. Anyways. Starting the emo out young. Yes, exactly. I was going to say, although for as like emo and upsetty as he was for like most of our interactions in that version, it was kind of nice because then the moments where we actually had genuine connections felt really cute and sweet. So honestly, I think it would be interesting to play the game with you and Cove being kind of like nervously indifferent at first, and then like in the second stage have you guys closer. Like I think that would be an interesting progression style to see play out, because it did make those moments really cute, but he was really sad. Get this boy some off-white checkered vans. Just Cove, you gotta put all your hair to this side so it's covering your eye. You gotta get some eyeliner and just... Well, you've already got the hating your dad thing down pat, so I mean, you're good there. You and Lizzie obeyed, sitting across from each other at the edge of the table. Lizzie blew a raspberry at you when Mom turned her back. Your parents brought the last of the food, then they took seats further down the table instead of sitting right next to you and Lizzie. Only Cove was left out. He stood up from his spot on the floor, but he hadn't made a move toward the kitchen. Cove? You can sit too. ... Slowly, he eyed the 4 seats that were left. Thanks to the new seating arrangement your parents chose, 1 free chair was beside you, another next to Lizzie, and the last 2 were on the other side of where your moms were sitting. Oh, I wonder if he'll sit next to me this time. I'm gonna assume so, but... I'm gonna say, sit next to me! Cove's... Oh, it actually does keep track of, yeah, like your gray eyes. Cove's gaze met your gray eyes. You smiled. Briefly, he grinned back. He walked over, pulled out the chair next to yours, and sat down. Aw, he actually sat with me this time. You were glad he wanted to sit with you. You just needed to know it was okay. Aw, or he just needed to know it was okay. Ah, that's so cute. Because, yeah, last time he was like, I literally said, come sit next to me, and then he just scurried past me and sat on the other side of the table, and I was like, okay, fine then. Now that everyone was situated, Mommy began to pass out plates.
Okay.
Dig in, kids. I cooked a little bit of everything for dinner tonight. Be sure not to avoid all of the veggies.
Ugh.
Yes, Mom. Each person at the table served themselves, except for one. Cove hesitated again. He fidgeted with his hands clamped on the top of his knees. He didn't seem very comfortable doing stuff in someone else's house. Oh, I feel that, buddy. I was always somewhat awkward when I was at my friend's house as a kid. I was even worse when they were having food because I was a terribly picky child. So more often than not, I'd just be like, Mom, please let me eat before I go to their house. Otherwise, I'm going to be weird and have to like just say I don't want their food and be hungry. Same. Yeah, see, exactly. It's just hard. It's different. One dish seemed to have his eye, at least. That's pineapple chicken. Want to try some? Not really. Sorry. The refrain is, oh yeah, I ate a big meal earlier. Yeah, and it was 9 p.m. and I'd been there all day. Ah! Oh no! No! Oh, I was so bad about that because I'd always just say I wasn't hungry. So I'd be there for the whole day. They'd be like, okay, so we're having dinner. Like, do you want some? I'd be like, I'm not hungry. And then I'd get the look for a minute where they'd just be like, internally, you could see they'd be like, you've been here all day. How are you not hungry? And of course, I was hungry, but I didn't want to eat food at someone else's house. Oh, I didn't read that. By then, your moms had noted that Cove still had nothing on his plate as well. Do you not like any of the food, honey?
Well,
Maybe he hasn't tried Hawaiian food before. He hasn't? Wow. Please don't talk with your mouth full, Lizzie. Lizzie swallowed the bite she was eating, then she spoke again. He should try it now. She turned to Cove dramatically. Unless you want to shrink. That's what happens if you miss a meal. Oh, that'd be lovely. Could you shrink a few pounds off me? Is that all I have to do? No, I'm just kidding. Don't starve yourself. I'm happy with how I am. Sort of. I need to work out more, but I don't. I refuse to eat food at other people's parties unless it's bagged chips. It's hard for me to eat at their house. I know, it's like, it's just a weird thing that's like hard to like get over. I don't know. I think it probably has something to do with like the fact that like, you know, like everyone's house smells really different to you, whereas your house doesn't smell like anything. And I think like sort of that smell combined with food that you're probably unfamiliar with the taste of is like, it's kind of hard. I've gotten a lot better about it. It depends on what it is, though. Yeah, same for me. I'm like, I'm usually good, but if it's something I've like never eaten before, or like if it's something that like I know has bits of something that I don't like in it, then I'm hesitant to eat it because I'll look like I know I'll look like an asshole picking through it and picking everything out and being like, I don't like this part of it. Soup is a no-go. Anything like barbecue is usually okay. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, actually, yeah. I don't frequently go for soup when it's at other people's house, but yeah, if someone's barbecuing, it's hard to really screw up barbecue. Or like if it's craft dinner, because, you know, I live in Canada, so every single person has 20 boxes of craft dinner in their house, so that's always a standard go-to. Elizabeth, that's not true. You know that. Cove squirmed under all the attention. He fidgeted with a fork between his fingers. I've had some things, just not any of this.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, shoot. I knew we should have asked your dad what your favorite foods were. It's all right, Lonnie. Maybe he'll find a new favorite today. You weren't so sure about that. Cove didn't look like he was going to be trying the food anytime soon. All right, let's see. You let your moms handle this. I think you would like the pineapple chicken. Give me your plate. Just reach over, grab the plate. You should try something new. I'll be direct with him, sure, even though I myself have never had pineapple chicken, so I cannot speak for experience, but my character has, so I think you would like the pineapple chicken. It's yummy. He ultimately trusted your judgment. At your suggestion, Cove carefully spooned rice and chicken onto the plate. You saw that he took more of the grilled pineapple than any of the vegetables. Oh, he actually did take some vegetables this time because he's here. That's cute. There's so many differences in this game. Like I'm genuinely impressed with just like the subtle shifts in everything just because I changed what my attitude towards Cove is. Like this is honestly really fantastic. That actually sounds really good right now. I know I have not eaten my dinner for the day yet, so I will have to do that after I finish streaming because I'm hungry. All I had was some broccoli soup, which was good, but it was a while ago now. You nodded, pleased, and your mom's let it slide. At first, Cove poked at the food. Clearly, he was apprehensive to eat something new, but he took a few exploratory bites.
Right?
It's good, huh? Isn't it?
You don't have to keep asking. He still speared more meat with his fork and ate it, chewing thoughtfully. It's not bad. Mommy grinned at his words, satisfied even though it wasn't exactly a glowing commendation. Lizzie wasn't as mollified. You're so weird. Don't be mean to your friend. We're not friends. Oh. Mummy floundered in the face of Cove's blunt honesty. You weren't surprised by Cove's declaration. The more you got to know him, the more you realized he wasn't the type of kid to keep his opinions to himself. She wasn't easy to get along with all the time, though Cove didn't make much of an effort either. You hoped Cove thought of you as a friend. The two of you were friends, right? You wondered how he felt about you. That made you nervous about your own relationship with him. At least the two of you were definitely friends. Oh, it's all much more about being friends. You hoped Cove thought of you as a friend. How I felt about you. That still leaves you nervous about your You wondered how he felt about you. You'd never asked before. When you gave Cove a look, he returned a small smile that made you feel good, even though you were still unsure what it meant. Your mommy looked at Mom and only got a shrug.
No.
Elizabeth, don't call someone weird. There's no such thing as a weird person and a non-weird person. There's just different perspectives. It's not a nice thing to say to anyone, but Pam. Mommy tried to whisper exclusively to Mom. Her attempt made it audible over the sounds of clanking silverware. Her attempt to make it audible over the sounds of clanking silverware meant you caught the quiet words anyway. They're not friends. He said so. As parents, we can only try, and sometimes we fail. Not all kids will be thick as thieves. Now less talking and more eating, kids. You need to clean up and start winding down for bed soon. IDK about that pineapple pizza. People are pretty weird, dude. I mean, it's true. Of the people in this world, if I had to declare some as weird, I would say those who enjoy pineapple on pizza are pretty weird. That's all I'm gonna say. Oh no. Skygrass, do you like pineapple on pizza? Oh no. That just means you're weird, and that's okay. But Mom. No buts. We've talked about this. Your bedtime will be moved back in a few years. For now, you don't get to stay up late. I feel personally attacked. I'm sorry. You're just weird. You have to live with it. I'm kidding. It's okay to like pineapple on pizza. If you enjoy it, well, I think it's strange, but I'm glad you can enjoy it. Lizzie sulked, muttering under her breath about how it wasn't right. It's okay to be wrong. Yeah, exactly. It's alright. It's fine. You laughed at Mom's phrasing. Oh yeah, that's right. She said no buts. You couldn't contain your snorts. Something the matter, Lewis? Mom said no buts. Lizzie scoffed and rolled her eyes, unimpressed by such crude words. Mommy snickered along with you, however. That's right. No butts allowed here. You'll have to get rid of yours. No, I need it. The two of you continue to chuckle, and Cove even cracked a smile. Children. I'm surrounded by children. If we can have cookie pizza, we can have pineapple on it too. Yes. Okay, let's all agree it's better than the weirdos that like kiwi on pizza. What? Kiwi on pizza? Yeah, I agree with Alex. Who's putting kiwi on pizza? Yeah, weirdos. You know what? Fair enough. Wow. Kiwi on pizza. But why? Why would you do that? Kiwi on pizza. No, I'm gonna have to go with no on that, thanks. The rest of dinner passed by uneventfully. Cove was silent for most of it, even when you nudged him and tried to get him to talk. All too soon, the table was cleared. The games in the living room were put away, and you were all steered to your bedrooms. Mom finished tucking you in and kissed your brow just as Mommy poked her head into the room. All ready for lights off, you two? You were lying comfortably in your bed, the blanket hiked up under your armpits. You could kick it off later if it got too hot. Mom had set up the sleeping bag on the floor for Cove, just beside your bed. He'd already wiggled inside. You nodded for the both of you in response to Mommy's question.
Good night.
Perfect. I'll say goodnight to Lizzie then. Mom tweaked your nose, chuckled when you squawked in annoyance, and left. Mommy took her place, sitting on the edge of your bed.
Sweet dreams.
Sweet dreams, sweetie. She pressed a soft kiss to your forehead. You giggled as strands of her hair fell forward and tickled you. Mommy smiled down affectionately at you, then moved her attention to Cove, who watched from his spot on the floor. Do you need anything before falling asleep, honey? What does your dad do?
Sometimes he picks me up and lifts me really high and he shakes his hands like he's gonna let go, but he catches me again. He keeps doing that until he does drop me on my bed. Or other times he lowers me down and we pretend like I'm crashing. Cove had become pretty excited when talking about the nightly ritual he and his dad shared. He seemed to realize how animated he was and bashfully quieted. But I don't want to do that here.
Aww.
Aw, how fun. Though I think you're right that it might not be a good idea to do that tonight. The sleeping bag might not be a soft enough landing. If there's anything else, you can always ask me or Lewis's other mom. But I'm the nicer one. Just don't tell her that. She laughed good-naturedly and stood up.
Take care.
Sleep well, Cove.
Night.
Leaning against the door jamb, she rested a hand on the light switch and looked at you. Good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. When I read this bit the first time, it got me a little bit in the heart, because I remember my mom used to say that to me when I was really little, and she would tuck me and it was always good night, sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite. We'd say it every time. Aww. Can I just say, Mommy, kinda attractive? You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Kinda attractive. Just saying, kinda really attractive. What's two more limbs broke? I know, right? He can handle being dropped onto a sleeping bag from like 10 feet on the ground. You know, it's fine. He'll be fine. With a last smile, Mommy turned off the lights and stepped out, closing the bedroom door behind her. You listened to her footsteps fade as she walked down the hallway. But even as the sound vanished, your eyes stayed open. It was so exciting to have Cove spending the night. You were happy that Cove was spending the night, but you couldn't shake the conversation from earlier at the dinner table. Cove had said that he and Lizzie weren't friends, but that wasn't the part that was bothering you. You couldn't stop wondering what he really thought about you. Oh, this is entirely different. She do be hot. She do be kind of hot though. Just saying. That's all I'm saying. You decide to ask him about it.
Cove? Yeah? Are we friends?
Cove didn't speak for a few moments, and you wondered if you'd startled him with the question. The longer the silence stretched, the more uneasy you felt about his impending answer.
Do you think we're friends?
You wrinkled your nose at the question being redirected back at you. How dare you ask my own question of me? Y'all thirsting in the chat for mommy. I feel it. The way Cove had asked it made you think that maybe he hadn't even questioned it before. And now more than ever, you wondered if you should have kept quiet instead. We're best friends. No, we met like probably a week ago. I don't know, not really. You decide. You decide. Don't make me pick. I asked you first. I'm gonna say... Well, how old am I in step 1? I think we're supposed to be like 7 or 8 or something, right? So at that stage, yeah, I would have said, yeah, we're friends. As soon as the words left your mouth, you knew they were true. Okay. You could only just make out Cove's outline in his sleeping bag, but you could hear the smile in his voice anyway, and it felt good to have an answer to the question burning in your mind. The two of you were officially friends. You started when Cove sighed deeply. You turned your head to look in his direction. In the dark, you could only see a faint outline of a lump under the covers. Cove? Could you be quieter, please? Stop that. Just straight up, you stop that right now. Talking to him like my cat when he's making noise in the middle of the night. Just be like, stop. Stop. What's wrong? I can't sleep. Why not? He shifted, or at least you thought he did. You couldn't see anything since your eyes were still adjusting to the dark, but you heard his sleeping bag rustle. I want to be in my bed. Oh. Cove sat up. Your eyes had gotten used to the low light levels, so you could see him better. He got out of the sleeping bag, wobbled towards your side table, and pulled open the top drawer. What is it? I'm getting my glasses. You sat up too, watching as he reached inside. He paused for a second, then pulled his hand out. Instead of his glasses, though, he was holding a book. Cove turned it around in his hands, trying to figure out the proper orientation for it. You knew, even without reading the title, which one it was. That was one your moms would read to you. It was special. Be careful, that's mine. I thought you were looking for your glasses. I was, then I felt this. It looks cool. The compliment he afforded your special book had you grinning, your confusion forgotten. It is really cool.
Oh?
Oh yeah? What's it about? It's a story about a squire who wants to become a knight, and there's magic. Does it have mermaids? No, but... I was gonna joke that the book was like the Bible you find in hotel rooms in the side table. Cove be like, what's this? Oh, that's the Holy Bible. Would you like to read Matthew 3:16 with me? I don't know which Bible passage that is or if that's a real one, but... Come on, Cove. Would you like to hear the word of our Lord Jesus Christ? It's the Bible of Dragons. Exactly. And there's cool pictures. She uses different... Mommy reads it to me. She uses different voices for every character. Me looking at myself right now. And Jesus, when he was baptized, went up straightway out of the water. And lo, the heavens were opened unto him. And he saw the Spirit of God descending like a dove and lightning upon him. I don't know what it means, but thanks. Wait, was that the verse that I just randomly said? Jesus. Literally. I picked a good one. Wow. Jesus. I keep saying Jesus. He's infecting my mind. You looked up Matthew 3:16. I wonder if I remember that for some reason, because that is like a very specific point of the Bible. Jesus. Oh no. Do I still have Bible knowledge from my 7th grade catechism classes or something? Oh, I don't like knowing that that's taking up space in my mind. Maybe, yeah, okay, if it's a meme, that's probably why. Okay. Yeah, probably. Or like, but we convert Cove to Christianity. Listen, Cove, you need to hear the word of our Lord Jesus Christ. John 4:20.
Okay.
Some of them were really silly too. There's lots of characters, and they all have good lines, so it's fun.
Cove looked excited by your words. He flipped the book over and focused on the backside summary. He must be pretty interested in it. You were reminded of the hours you'd spent hearing the tales. No matter how many times you read it or had it read to you, you were still entertained by the story and pictures inside. You glanced out the window. The moon was high in the sky, like a pie. That's amore. I'm sorry. And Jesus said unto he, blaze it, my son. Oh, I just looked it up. John 3:16 is this, so he gave his only begotten son what? Oh. Okay, yeah. Okay. Blaze it, my son. Blaze it, my child. It was definitely a time you were supposed to be asleep. No, I'm reading the book with Cove. Bedtime is for babies. You climbed out of bed and padded over to your side table. You opened it and rummaged around, pushing aside stuffed toys and crayons. Cove called out to you in a confused whisper. What are you doing? You'll see. You let out a quiet cry of victory when you found what you were looking for. You jumped back onto the bed before any hidden boogeyman could catch you unaware. Oh, this bit's so cute. And lo, the Lord said unto them, get fucked up, my dudes. And thus they went into the valley and became lit. The 420 Bible. From the embers of the burning bush we spoke. This is so sacrilegious, I'm sure. And Jesus said... and God said to Moses in the commandments, my first commandment is, thou shalt get litty. Cove continued to watch as you wiggled your way beneath the blanket you discarded earlier. You pulled it up over your head. Come on, check it out. Bring the book, too. After a minute, the bed dipped as Cove got on it. Then the blanket shifted. You fiddled with the flashlight in your grip, feeling for the switch. Ah! With a click, the small space flooded with a bright light. Cove sputtered, putting a hand up to shield himself from the beam. Move it somewhere else. Sorry. You tilted the flashlight so it was shining down towards the floor of your blanket cave and away from Cove's sensitive eyes. Is that better? Yeah. Now we can read and my moms won't know. I do this all the time, except for me, it was not a flashlight and nor was it a book. It was my nightlight and my Game Boy Advance. That bright light was Jesus. Yes, exactly. The bright light was Jesus just entering the blanket cave with us. When Mom or Mommy check on me, I have to hide everything under the blanket, but I haven't been caught before. Do you want to try? Cove nodded. Pleased by his straightforward response, you placed the book between you and flipped it open to the first page. If we're actually sitting like this, where like Cove is facing forward and I'm like directly in front of him, this is a inconvenient way to have the book spread like this, because that means one of us is seeing it upside down. Calvin, oh, this is so cute. Chat continuously speaks in Bible verses about getting high. It's just, you know, it's two different conversations, but both relevant and important. Meanwhile, he laid down on his belly and shuffled closer, picking up the flashlight to shine it on the pages. His face was illuminated with a warm glow. You mirrored his position, leaning in so you could see the book better. Your foreheads nearly brushed until you shuffled back a comfortable distance. Ooh, spicy. Cove looks real excited to read the Bible. He's just really excited to get enlightened, okay? You wanted the story to be narrated. I just looked up John 4:20 and it's actually good though. Is it actually? Oh shit. Whoever claims to love God yet hates a brother or sister is a liar. Yup. God, who knew that John 4:20 would be the really insightful one? That is a good one, and I wish more people I knew listened to that one. He smoked so much his hair turned green. Cove got that weed hair. His eyebrows are our weed. I don't fucking know. You loved it when Mommy read to you. Why not read as loud as you dared this time of night? You didn't even need to study the page for long. There was once a squire who dreamed of knighthood. All they wanted was to do good. Cove was taken aback when you began to recite the words by heart. You even pronounced knighthood properly, a word which had given you grief in the past. That also happened to Jeremy. Cove, more like, we joke, am I right? Yes, you see, Cove and Jeremy got together one day, and they read the Weed Bible, and they got enlightened and really high, and then the two of them were permanently weed bros. That's just how it works. Janky ass eyebrow looking at. His eyebrows are weird, okay? I love you, Cove. You're a lovely lad. But them eyebrows are problematic. Cove and Jeremy go to the same dealer church or something. IDK. Fucking dealer church. His reaction encouraged you to keep going. Soon you got to an exciting part, the squire and the dragon's first meeting. The squire walked up to the fearsome dragon, their borrowed sword in one hand and a torch in the other. Her red scales danced in the light like flickering flames. Could you say the dragon's lines? Do you need to get your glasses? No, my head hurts if I don't wear my glasses for a while. I can kind of see things alright, but I don't know any voices. That's okay, it's fun anyway. Let me just... Aw, he actually reads it aloud. Like, seriously, everything is way different in this depending on what you... Well, not way different, but, like, significantly changed depending on if you picked to be an asshole to Cove or not, so... It's like how in church, they give kids wine as a little treat, but now it's a little weed as a treat. Kids in church can have a little weed as a treat. That's how it works, you know? God, I have a good story about that, actually, to quickly tangent off and stop reading. When I was in catechism, I was obviously a small child, so I had never had wine or such before, and at your first communion thing, right, you're supposed to, they give you the body of Christ for the first time, and they give you the blood of Christ for the first time, because you're a small child, and because like you're not actually at a service, they just put grape juice in it. So I had a sip and I was like, oh fuck, this tastes dope as hell, I love this. So when we went to an actual service later, I was like, yeah, I'll go get some of that blood of Christ. And I sipped it and I was like, what is this? This doesn't taste anything like the wine I had last time. This is nasty. Is this? And then like I asked my dad, like, was it sour or something? And my dad was like, no, it's just, that's what wine tastes like. And I was so confused for the longest time, and then realized only later in life, oh yeah, they had grape juice in it last time, that's why. Weed brownies and tea steeped with weed. Getting stoned is a good thing. God, can we just have stoner church? It's like all the same, but everything's weed. Christ. Oh, Cove read the page, his mouth moving silently with the words. Eventually, he nodded to himself and spoke them aloud. Who goes there? Roared the dragon. Who dares enter my cave? It was your turn. You went into the squire's famous speech. The next time you looked up from the page, your gaze landed right on Cove. His eyes were following the text, a soft smile lighting up his features. A lock of his hair fell into his field of vision, but he gave it no notice. He was lost in the story. You started when Cove caught you watching him. He raised a questioning eyebrow. A questioning, squiggly, weird eyebrow. What? Nothing. Legit, it would make the world a much better place if all the evangelical Christians were just potheads instead, and we're all love thy neighbor, but for real. For reals. It would be nothing but love. The world would be great. The smoking thing they do during Mass to cleanse sins is actually just a giant joint. Oh god! And when they flick the holy water on everyone, it's actually just bong water. Christ Almighty! Cove shot you a strange look, but he went back to the book. You did too, even as your eyelids started to droop. It's vape juice. Bong water. Yes. Oh god. When your eyes opened again, your bedroom was pitch black and silent. Your head was smushed into your pillow, your pajamas were sticking to you, and your mouth was dry. Slowly you raised yourself onto your elbows. You yawned, the back of your throat twinging as you did. You rolled onto your side to sit up in bed, planning to get water from the kitchen when you saw a dark shape towering above you. You froze. Then you remembered you weren't alone in your room tonight. Cove, is that you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You shifted and felt something cylindrical press against your thigh. You fumbled for it, the familiar weight of the flashlight pressed into your palm. You turned it on. Cove blinked at you, looking exhausted. He was in his normal clothes again, shoes and everything. His pajama pants were left on the floor, abandoned. His sleeping bag was in a similar state.
What is it? Can't sleep. I keep waking up. Did you have a bad dream?
He shook his head from side to side.
No, just can't sleep. It's weird here.
You frowned. You'd helped your mom's redecorate it only a few months back. I like my room.
It's not that it's bad. I just always sleep in my bed, in my room.
That made things a little clearer. It wasn't anything that you'd done. Cove couldn't sleep in a new place. You wondered how long it took for Cove's bedroom in his new house to not be weird to him. Probably a while.
I'm gonna go.
What? That shook off the last of your doziness. He was going to walk outside back to his own house? This time of night, all by himself? He noted your stocked expression and looked at you with resolve.
My dad will let me in, and I've gone outside late before, and I have to go.
The flashbacks when you and I had matching water bong nicknames. We're about to leave to find his dealer. That's right. I remember there was like a whole month where you and I just had nicknames that were just bong water and water bong on Discord. I don't remember why, but we did. We about to leave to find his dealer. Yeah, see, his dad is secretly his dealer. His dad is the leader of the weed church. You don't have to. I'll come with you. I remember when I was on the other path, the only thing you could choose that was different and would have a sort of semi-good result was if you tell your moms. Otherwise, he just gets pissy with you. So I wonder if in this one I can have different things or if he'll still be mad. I'll just say I'll come with you.
Why?
Why? I can get there myself, and then you'd have to go all the way back here from my house.
I want us to stay together. I think I should come anyway. I gotta make sure nothing happens to you. You don't have to let him stay. That's true, yes. I remember in the other path you couldn't get him to stay no matter what you said. He would just be like, no. I gotta make sure nothing happens to you. Cove looked at you quietly as if contemplating something before nodding his head.
Okay.
Okay.
With that, Cove casually crouched down to collect his pajama pants. You were relieved he didn't mind you coming.
Are you getting the rest of your stuff too? Like your toothbrush? I don't know where my mom's put it all. No, just this.
You could understand that. He didn't really need anything right now and could always pick up his things tomorrow. Cove visited your house during the day all the time. You grabbed the flashlight and waited by the door. Soon, Cove joined you. The two of you crept out into the hallway as silently as you could. God, there are so many instances in this game where you just low-key sneak out of the house. I don't know how my moms have any trust in me whatsoever. I mean, to be fair, they do get pissed at you if they catch you, but still, low-key, rebellious child. You sidestepped the loose floorboard at the end of the hall, alerting Cove to it as well. Apart from that, you had no problems making it to the front door. Everybody was in the room, so the rest of the house was abandoned. It was brighter outside. Here, some of your other neighbors had lights coming through their windows. Still, you felt better with your flashlight turned on. You pointed it in the direction you were walking. There was no sound apart from the chirping of crickets and the crunch of some loose sand that got all the way up the street from the beach. After a while, it was almost soothing. You thought back to your unlocked front door and hoped one of your moms didn't wake up. If they locked it or checked in on you, or both, you'd be in a lot of trouble. Surprisingly, it was Cove who broke the deep silence.
This was my first sleepover. Really? I've had sleepovers before. Sometimes I'll go to Grandma and Grandpa's house. Shiloh slept over a few times too, and other stuff.
Cove remained quiet. The silence stretched between you, but it didn't feel awkward right now. You didn't feel the need to break it immediately.
How was it? Or is it?
It's not bad.
I liked reading your book.
You did? I kind of thought you weren't having fun. You didn't really say anything when we were eating.
I didn't know what to say.
Oh. Now you were the one who didn't know what to say, so you said nothing. You just lit the path ahead. The two of you kept walking side by side, your shadows stretching across the concrete. In almost no time at all, you arrived. Cove's house loomed above you, the windows dark. Mr. Holden must be sleeping, just like everyone else in your own family.
Are you sure your dad's gonna open the door? Yeah, he wakes up real easily.
As if to demonstrate, he rang the doorbell. A couple minutes passed, and you wondered if Cove was wrong. Then the front door unlocked and cracked open. Out came his dad. Oh. Shirtless father. Wow. Mr. Holden wasn't wearing all his clothes. His hair wasn't up in a ponytail like normal either. You felt a little bad to disturb him when he definitely had not been expecting anyone. His eyes had been narrowed into tired slits, yet they opened wide when he saw you in Cove. Kids? What in the world are you doing? Everything okay?
I couldn't sleep.
Cove said my room is weird. Mr. Holden blinked, his features still twisted in panic. Then he closed his eyes and let out a deep breath.
Right. That is a shame.
What's done is done. Come on inside, son. We can talk about what happened in the morning.
Okay.
Cove yawned while accepting the terms without complaint. Thank you for dropping him off, Lewis. I think you'll have to be part of the conversation tomorrow, but we'll deal with what to do next time. Now, let me walk you back. It's not safe for you to be out this late by yourself. He moved a step past you, but you shook your head. I'll be fine, Mr. Holden. My house is right here, and I have a flashlight. Mr. Holden remained where he was, his brow furrowed, and placed a hand on Cove's shoulder blade. Then I'll stand right here. Cove and I will be your lookouts. We'll close our door once you've made it back inside. You nodded your head at the compromise. Have a good night. Take care. Mr. Holden waved you off. As you turned, your eyes met Cove's, still standing beside his dad. His lips turned up at the corner. He spoke in an almost whisper.
Bye.
Bye, Lewis. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, my moms are probably gonna be mad. Cal's brains be like, hubba, Daddy Holden. No. Just wasn't expecting to see him shirtless. Did this dude have code at age 15 or what? He wanna be Holden, Mr. Holden. Wait till you see what Cove's mom looks like. 18, hubba, I think. Yeah, he seems like pretty young, so that would make sense if he had Cove at like 18. I just wasn't expecting to see him shirtless, okay? No, I still think mommy is hotter. All the moms are MILFs, and for what? Us to simp over? Well, yes, exactly. That's exactly what they're there for. Flashlight clutched in your hands, you jogged back over to your home. You did feel better knowing Cove and his dad were watching to make sure nothing happened. Once you got to your front door, you glanced over to see the two waiting. You waved. Faintly, you saw Cove wave back. You quietly closed the door behind you, smiling to yourself. Then you tiptoed into your bedroom. The flashlight was returned to your drawer in its rightful place. Although Cove had to go back home in the end, you still considered the sleepover to be quite a success. You did hope that next time he'd be able to stay the whole night, whenever next time came along. The next morning, you were woken by the sound of Mom's voice and a soft shake on your shoulder. Ugh. All the moms have massive mommy milkers. You right. Y'all thirsty. I mean, you're not wrong, but... Lewis, wake up. It's time to get up and at 'em. The sun was peeking through your curtains, and you rubbed at your eyes as they adjusted to the new light. Cove's already out of bed. You blinked at her for a moment, confused, until you caught the empty sleeping bag on the ground and remembered what had happened during the night. But I didn't see him out there. I wonder where he's gotten off to so early. You hesitated, giving Mom a look with your mouth hanging half open as you processed what to tell her.
Everything okay?
Lewis, is everything all right? Cove couldn't sleep. He said my room was weird.
What?
What? Where's Cove now? Did he sleep on the couch? Oh, she's gonna be mad at me. God, there are so many instances in this game where you can just low-key leave and scare the crap out of your parents by putting yourself in potentially dangerous situations. But I mean, given that you're supposed to be really young, that makes sense because you're a stupid kid in a small town, so yeah. Mom was still looking at you expectantly, but as you started to explain what had happened, you were interrupted by Mommy calling from downstairs saying Mr. Holden was at the door. You could tell by the way that Mom's forehead crinkled that she was even more concerned. When she turned to head downstairs, you pulled back the covers and jumped out of bed to follow her. Cliff, how are you? Mom joined Mommy at the door while you hovered at the bottom of the stairs and peeked around the corner. You saw Cove's dad standing just outside, a sheepish smile on his face. He was alone, and you wondered if Cove was all right. I don't want to alarm you both, but Cove showed up back home in the middle of the night, and he wasn't alone. He rubbed the back of his neck anxiously. He must have felt bad about sharing the news. Mr. Holden kind of reminded you of Cove in that moment. Your moms exchanged a pair of surprised look, Mommy gasping and covering her mouth with a hand. The two of them looked your way. You quickly ducked behind the wall. The boy and I made sure Lewis got back safe, but Cove wouldn't tell me what happened. I thought you might have a little more insight. We didn't hear a thing during the night. I noticed Cove was gone just minutes before you arrived. Is he all right? We're so sorry. We'll be having a talk with Lewis about this for sure. Mr. Holden pulled his lips into a tight smile and held up his hands as if to say it wasn't their fault. He's fine. I just wanted to find out more before having another talk with him. I should have known he wasn't ready to spend the night at someone else's house. You felt bad for Mr. Holden. He looked so sad. They discussed the event for a little bit longer, your parents promising to call him if they found out more. And when Mr. Holden finally said goodbye, you heard Mom calling your name. Immediately, you panicked, wondering if you should find somewhere to hide. There was a growing sense of dread in your stomach that you were about to get into a lot of trouble. Your moms found you eventually, though you were relieved to see they didn't look very angry. They did, however, look very, very worried.
That's ridiculous.
What were you thinking, Lewis? Why didn't you tell us something was wrong? Why did you leave the house? You toed the ground in front of you, refusing to look at them. I'm sure you were just trying to help him, but you know it's dangerous to go outside at night without a parent, don't you? Nodding your head, you couldn't do much more than listen as your parents explained how dangerous it had been for you and Cove to wander over to his house on your own. Personally, you didn't think it was that bad since Cove only lived across the road, but you didn't tell your moms that. You were already in enough trouble as it was, so when they asked you to promise to tell them something like that next time, you nodded your head in agreement. Even though it was a little unfair, you accepted the punishment that you weren't allowed to have any sleepovers until you could prove to your moms that you were responsible enough. You were determined to show them that you could be trusted. When you saw Cove next, he was sorry you had gotten into trouble. After hearing a similar lecture, Cove got away with a warning from his dad. Mr. Holden felt that negative experience was enough already, and Cove didn't need additional punishments. In the end, the two of you and your parents were eventually able to move past the ill-fated sleepover. It had all been a learning experience, according to the adults. You could accept that. There were definitely things you learned from it. And hopefully, one day you and Cove would finally be able to have a successful sleepover. Aww. Okay, let's see. The runaway one is definitely really sad. Oh, what was the one where you can tell him the truth about what his dad said? I think it was it Grown Up? Make sure you save. Yeah, that's a good idea. I should save. Oh, I'm trying to remember which is the one where you can tell him what his dad did. I think it was Grown Up. Because it's really dramatic. Is it Sand? It's Sandcastle? That would make sense. Because I did quite a few of these last night. I think I did Shopping, I did Grown Up, I did Runaway, I did Long Day, I did Sandcastle, Fireflies, and Ghost. I think the only ones I didn't do were Library and Barbecue. Yes, it's Sandcastle. Okay. Should I do Runaway or Sandcastle? Because Runaway is an interesting one, but Sandcastle does have that dramatic moment. Runaway or Sandcastle? I don't know. Does anyone have a preference, or am I gonna have to make a decision? I'm probably gonna have to make a decision. Crap. You're a big boy. I can flip a coin for you. You can choose. Either is fine. You can also choose to tell him in chapter 2. Ooh, okay. You know what? Let's go with Runaway. I want to make my moms freak out about me more. Let's do it. Let's go with Runaway. It was early, and you were on your way to the playground. Lizzie planned on joining you there later. You weren't sure what she was busy with right now. Older kid stuff, you imagined. That was okay. What was forefront in your mind was if Cove might be free to come too. Oh! Wait, I just see him right away? Oh, that's weird. The other one was a lot more dramatic. He's just, if anyone hasn't played the other one, he just straight up is just like not there, and your sister comes running to tell you, and you can choose to like walk all the way to the edge of town and sit with him there until the middle of the night when your parents find you and they're like, holy shit, what is wrong with you kids? But maybe I can still choose to run away with him now and scare my parents even more. Cal said, I will be a menace to my parents. Yes, exactly. I'm a stupid child. What can I say? As you walk the familiar street, wondering how you might find your neighbor, he appeared right in front of you, almost as if he was a mind reader. I'm gonna head out, but have fun. We'll definitely watch more if you stream more. Thank you. It was lovely having you, and I will definitely try to stream more. I know I'm super inconsistent, but I will try to be more consistent. You have a good night or day, where whatever time it is for you. Hi, Cove. Can you come to the playground with me?
No.
No, sorry. Cove looked strangely serious. It had been an even bigger deal than whatever mystery thing Lizzie had to do. I'm leaving, Lewis. What? Where? He shifted, and your gaze was drawn to the backpack slung over his shoulders. Cove liked to stuff things into his pockets from what you'd seen, but people sometimes carried bags with them. It hadn't been very attention-worthy, until now. The pack was decorated with cartoon waves and dolphins. He gripped one of the straps tightly with his good hand. I just wanted you to know. Cove didn't glance up and meet your eyes. You started to grow worried. I don't get it, but where are you going? Oh, can I go too? I'll come with you. You're running away? Let's run away together. I don't get it, but where are you going? Yeah, I would probably say, but where are you going? He didn't answer. It was as if you hadn't said anything. I'll come back, though. Sometime. I don't know when, but we can do stuff then. He directed a fragile smile your way. Without another word, Cove turned on his heel and started to walk away. Wait! He kept going. His focus wasn't on you anymore. What was that about? You watched as his back grew smaller and smaller, then you realized that you were still standing in the middle of the sidewalk. You thought about your earlier plan of playing at the park. Suddenly it didn't seem as fun anymore, not without Cove. But it wasn't like you could force him to play with you. He had things to do. I'ma go play at the park. It was still sad that Cove wouldn't be there, but you wanted to stick with the plans you had on your own. Maybe Cove and his dad were going on a vacation. That had to be it, you reasoned. After all, Cove said he was going to be back. He wasn't moving again. You resolved to spend time with Cove when you saw him next time for sure. After a couple hours at the playground by yourself, it had gotten firmly into afternoon. You were on the swing set with your feet buried in the sand when you spotted Lizzie in the distance. Okay, so now it's going on track to the other one, okay. She was rushing over like something was on her tail, chasing her. You knew she would be coming, but was she that excited to get to the park? Instead of nabbing the swing beside yours, Lizzie stopped in front of you. She bent over, balancing her hands on her knees, and panted. Did you hear?
Hear what? Lizzie bounced back, her eyes blown wide. You only saw her this worked up when she found the new hiding place of Mom's sugar stash.
It's about Cove.
Cove? Something in the pit of your stomach dropped at hearing his name. You listened intently as Lizzie explained.
I just came out when I saw lots of people gathered around in the middle of the street. They were talking kind of quietly, so I don't think I was supposed to hear, but that just means it was important. So I snuck up, and I heard everything.
She paused dramatically. Clearly she wanted you to say something. What'd you hear? Seeing that she had your attention, Lizzie continued.
Cove is missing. He left a piece of paper for Mr. Holden to tell him he was going away and would be gone for a long time, and no one's seen him since. Now they're searching the whole neighborhood. The grown-ups were even saying that if they don't find Cove soon, they'll call the police.
The police?
This was horrible. You'd seen Cove, you knew he was going someplace, but you had no idea it was like that.
Was Cove going to be arrested for running away? You thought you might have to go to jail too for not saying anything and letting him go. Oh God, I'm too young to go to prison. You glanced back at Lizzie. Should you tell her that you'd known about Cove leaving, or would it be better to keep that to yourself? You kept it a secret from Lizzie. I don't trust her not to blab. Now wasn't the time to bring it up. Actually, finding Cove was more important. Plus, all of this wasn't your fault. You had no idea things would turn out so bad. You watched as your sister began to pace in front of you.
I know Mom said Cove was sad about moving here, but running away from home is crazy.
Jeez.
Where else is he gonna go anyway?
I don't know. I want to find him. I hope someone finds him soon. Yeah, I'd go tons of places. I want to find him. Lizzie scrunched her face up, thinking deeply for a moment. Then she nodded and planted her hands on her hips, determined.
I'm gonna look too.
You are?
We can play at the park any other day, and the more people there are looking, the quicker someone will find him.
Maybe I'll be the one who does. I'm the best at hide and seek, after all. It seemed like Lizzie wanted to look, not only because she was concerned about Cove, but also because it was the most interesting thing to happen this week.
Wish me luck.
Before you could say anything, she ran off in the opposite direction from where she came. You were left in the dust in a matter of moments. That was your sister for you. But Lizzie's appearance in this crisis faded to the back of your mind just as quickly. Cove. He told his dad he was leaving to go somewhere by himself. Why did Cove suddenly decide to do that today? Did something bad happen? It was impossible to say for sure. Unfortunately, you had no idea where he could have gone. You thought hard. There were the hills behind your house. He had gone there the first time you met. But someone would have checked there already. They wouldn't need the police for that. Cove must be far away or hiding somewhere if the whole neighborhood was looking for him. You swung back and forth, your lips pursed in contemplation. If I were Cove, where would I go? Lizzie had said Cove was crazy for running away from home, but he never considered Sunset Bird his home, did he? His real home was somewhere else. There was only one place that came to mind that might be important enough for Cove to go off like this. Go off, I guess. It was a good idea, except how was he gonna get there? Could he take a bus? Was he gonna walk the whole way? You didn't know what direction he needed to take. But wait, there was only one way he could go. Going down the street just led to the beach, so that couldn't be right. Going to either side would mean he'd get stuck by buildings and fences and big slopes like the one behind your house. That left going up the street. You knew that road. It led into the main part of town and kept going all the way to the city limits. Cove didn't know the area well. You didn't think he'd want to go off that road onto some random other street, which meant if someone followed that path, they might find him somewhere along it. The grown-ups seemed to all be looking in the neighborhood, so you had to go find Cove by yourself. We are going to worry our parents. We will not tell the adults. We will go by ourselves. You shouldn't tell anyone yet, just in case you were wrong. You could go check it out yourself. You rushed to where you had abandoned your flip-flops and slipped them on. They slapped against the sand as you left the playground. Oh, my parents are never going to trust me again. You went right up along the main street, keeping an eye out for Cove. No one else had the same idea as you, it seemed, because you were completely alone there. How safe! You passed through your whole neighborhood, then the next one over and the next.
You put one foot in front of the other, focusing on your surroundings as you did. Cove had a head start, so you didn't know how far he could have gotten. You couldn't get distracted. You kept walking. You even called out for Cove a few times, but you didn't see that familiar mop of green hair anywhere. After a while, the sun began to dip out of the sky. It would be dark soon, and there was still no sign of your neighbor. You weren't even in the residential district by this point. You had reached the central part of town. The area was at once strange and familiar. You'd been here before, of course, but never without your moms close by. They would drive you. You were growing disheartened. There was the possibility that he was farther ahead, but there were countless other places to potentially check, too. Cove! You shouted his name a few times, as you had done periodically this entire time, but there was nothing. Maybe he's not going this way. Was he somewhere else? Had someone found him already? You kept going forward. Into the night. Worry our parents? Heck yes. You were able to make it this far. You had to continue the search. With that in mind, you push yourself to walk a little faster. People said this was a really tiny town, but to you it felt absolutely gigantic. Eventually, the business part of town ended too. There was no sidewalk anymore, only a long expanse of road. You walked on the grass instead. Onward was the only option. Your journey stubbornly continued. Your feet hurt. You were tired. You were all the way out of town. But somehow you had reached the very edge of Sunset Bird. That's what the sign told you. Hot damn. We really did just head all the frickin' way out of town. You had lived in Sunset Bird forever, and it was a very rare occasion that you'd see this sign. Most everything in your life happened inside the city limits. It felt like a big town to you. Yes, because you were a child. A small child. You're gonna give your moms heart attacks. Terrible child. Yes, absolutely. They will never trust me again. The endless road ahead seemed scary in a way. It paralyzed you and finally put an end to your forward momentum. You scanned your surroundings instead of dwelling on that. You deeply hoped he hadn't gone past that sign either. Cove? Are you here? The previous times you'd called his name, there had been no answer. You couldn't be surprised that one didn't come this time either. Until... Lewis? A dark blob just behind one of the exit sign's legs shifted. You squinted as it continued to move. The more you stared, the more your eyes adjusted, and the more that dark blob resembled a person. Then you realized just who it was. It was Cove! He was here! You actually found him! He hesitantly got up from where he'd been sitting, as if to make sure he had actually heard something. Then he caught sight of you, his eyes wide behind his glasses. There you are you crazy? I'm so happy you're here. I've been looking everywhere for you. I knew you'd be here. You were just as stunned, and it left you silent. Here you are. Are you crazy? I've been looking everywhere for you. Cove finally blinked as you ran up to him, your feet still aching. How did you find me? You said you were leaving, and you always wanted to go back home, so I thought you must have come this way.
Oh.
Oh. And that was all he said after all of this. Maybe he didn't realize how seriously the adults were taking it. Are you okay? Yeah. He didn't look okay. His squiggly brows were pinched and his shoulders tense. You got the feeling pointing that out wouldn't help matters. Everyone's looking for you. That caught his attention. He frowned at you.
Really?
They are? Yeah, the whole neighborhood. Lizzie told me they might even call the police. We might get arrested. What? Why? I don't know. Because you tried to run away, probably. And I knew, so I'm your accomplice. Was that the word? You thought so. You'd heard it before on those detective shows Mommy liked to watch. We're not gonna be arrested. Although Cove said it, he looked a little worried over the news. Come on, Cove, let's go home.
No.
No! He spoke crossly. You were thirsty. Everyone in here is thirsty. You were thirsty and exhausted, and you weren't sure you could keep going back and forth about this.
You're stupid. That's such a kid thing to say. Why not? Your shout caused him to flinch, but not enough to budge. At first, Cove was quiet. You started to think he wouldn't say anything. Then he spoke. My mom called today to check up on me and stuff. She asked what Sunset Bird was like and how I was doing. It was okay. But when I asked if she'll come here, Mom said she couldn't. I can't go back either, not right now. She has to move somewhere else first. Cove glared at the ground. His voice cracked as he continued.
It's not fair.
Why can't I even see her anymore? He used his uncasted arm to rub both of his eyes. I'm gonna go myself. I don't need anyone to take me. This was all just too much, and you started to cry. That's something I would probably do as a kid. If I had a friend who was running away, was just gonna leave me, I would start crying probably. I was a very emotional kid. This is such a bad idea. You're being selfish. I'm just gonna cry. Cove's eyebrows shot up as though he hadn't expected you to have this kind of reaction to what was happening. What's wrong? You didn't give him any answer. When the surprise wore off, he tried more softly to coax a reply out of you. Are you okay? No, I don't want you to go. His lips clamped together and he awkwardly held his hands up in front of him as though he wanted to do something but wasn't sure what. I'm sorry. I don't want to leave forever. It's just... Then he shook his head like he was trying to clear it. When he spoke some more, it was mostly to himself. If I don't go see Mom, then she's... Fresh tears glistened in Cove's red-rimmed eyes. He stubbornly tried to blink them away, but they slipped down his cheeks. You frowned at the sight. No matter what, you hated seeing him cry. What'll happen? Mom doesn't call that much, and I haven't seen her in so long. Cove hiccuped, wiping his face with the back of his arm. His glasses got shoved up awkwardly as a result. If I don't go, she'll be gone. She'll forget about me. She wouldn't do that. How do you know? She's your mom. She loves you. Your mom's always said that, so it must be true for Cove's mom too. Cove sniffled. He seemed conflicted. I'm not sure if that's right. You were at a standstill. Time to traumatize our mothers. Then we'll stay out here. I'm not going back. His lower lip trembled at your declaration. Are you sure? You don't have to. You can still go home without me. You didn't leave a letter or anything. I'm sure. Thanks. The final part of his statement was whispered. You're always there when I think I'm going to be by myself. And that was that from him. Both of you shuffled toward the sign. You sat near it again, and you followed, crossing your legs under yourself. He zipped open his backpack and offered you a snack, which you took. You hadn't had dinner, so you were hungry. There was a feeling of camaraderie in the silence as you ate. Do you think they called the police after all? Everyone must still be looking for Cove, and you too now. Wow, nice bot in chat. Go away, fucker. Anyways. No, probably not. He didn't sound confident, though. You still hoped he was right. You didn't want to go to jail. What the heck? Good old bots. I love all of the accents on the letters to make sure that they don't get caught. Wanna become famous? Buy followers, Prime, and viewers. Wow, what a good deal. Oh man, I could just buy followers? Wow, that's fantastic. Oh, gotta love a good bot. You weren't sure how much time passed. All you knew was that one moment you were letting your eyelids droop while huddling near Cove under the sign, and the next you were snapped back to attention by the blaring beep of a horn. Cove froze. You whipped around to see a car approaching you. It was difficult to make out who it was. The headlights were so blinding. Instead of continuing down the road, the car slowed down near where you sat. The window rolled down, revealing the face behind the wheel. It was very familiar.
Mom!
She shouted back, and not just because there was some distance between you and her. She's not happy. What are you kids doing here? I've been looking everywhere for you. We were gonna come back later, but... She stopped looking at you, instead staring hard straight ahead. Both her hands were gripping the wheel. Guilt ate you up from the inside.
All right.
Get in. Let's get you two home.
Oh, are you awake? Oh, hi.
I don't know if you guys can still see him back there, just chilling. That, at least, made her showing up worth it. Your feet were aching like crazy from all the walking you'd done today. You yanked open the side door, slipped into the back seat, then clambered over so Cove had enough room to climb in too. He followed in wordlessly, tucking his backpack near his feet. Your mom looked at you and Cove from the rearview mirror. The two of you had us extremely worried. That wasn't a good thing to do. Not at all. Shamefaced, you both nodded as one.
Sorry.
Sorry, Mrs. Lomond.
Sorry, Mom. She softened immediately. Not enough to actually let it go, though. You'll have to apologize to everyone else, too. With that, Mom started the car up again and you were off. For the rest of the car ride, no one said anything. You thought all of you were pretty tired. In fact, you must have dozed off at some point because you woke up to the sound of the engine stopping. When you opened your eyes, you realized Cove was looking over at you. He was tense. We're back. You yawned and got out of the car. Cove came out after, putting his backpack on again. Mom locked the car door and motioned you two towards the house. She opened the front door and let you go in first. Mommy appeared quickly. She must have been waiting nearby. There was a phone in her hand. It worried you, thinking about who she might have been talking to. The tight line of her shoulders relaxed when she saw you and Cove. Oh, thank goodness you found both of them. Yes, I did. They were at the actual end of town, right under the now leaving sign. What were you two doing there this time of night? Do you have any idea how far that is? How unsafe? You peeked at Cove. He still looked exhausted. His eyes were puffy and there were dried tear tracks stuck to his cheeks. I wanted to see my mom. Louis came to get me. Your own mom shared a look. You weren't sure what it meant, but they always did that. You wondered if they could read each other's minds. Since they were communicating telepathically, you stole a glance around the house. Lizzie wasn't anywhere in sight. Moms. Telepathic, I say. Could she be outside somewhere, searching for Cove still? Where's Lizzie? Your sister's in her room, fast asleep. The same way you should have been. She came back earlier. She'd been out looking for Cove after accidentally finding out he was missing. She tried to pretend otherwise, but she was worried. Said she checked all the hiding places she could think of, but she couldn't find Cove. You and Cove exchanged remorseful glances at that. Mommy noticed the discomfort.
Okay.
You two must be sleepy. You can sit down wherever you like. Mommy smiled warmly and motioned to the living room. Cove looked up at her, then lumbered over. You followed close behind. Ooh. The living room wasn't far, or separated by a wall, so you heard your mom's talking softly. He wanted to go see his mother. Poor thing.
Well,
That explains it, at least. Still, I'm not sure it excuses it. It was so dangerous to go off into town like that. When he slept over here, he left in the middle of the night, too. Gave us quite the fright. And he's having a hard time right now. You can't expect a child to handle it maturely. True, it can't be helped. But that's enough of that. We should tell Cliff and the others that he's here before the panic gets out of hand. There could be riots.
Is that all right?
I'll call. Then go to the front to tell everyone's still out there. You keep an eye on the kids. Make sure they don't make any more trips today. Got it, hun. Cove just sat there on the couch, setting his backpack down beside him. He stared at his hands. I'm sorry, Louis. You faced him quietly. I didn't want to make you feel bad. I don't want to fight. And you won't do it again? I won't. Not for real. Okay, I don't want to fight either. Having him apologize did make you feel better. He looked relieved that the two of you were going to be able to get past this. Before you could say anything else, the front door opened. Your mom was back with Mr. Holden close behind her. He made a beeline for the couch, his gaze trained on his son.
Cove?
Cove! God, are you alright? Strands of his hair had fallen out of his ponytail. His eyes were darkened, like he'd been crying too. Cove stared up at his dad, his own eyes wide behind the frames of his glasses. He really hadn't expected it to be such a big deal. I'm okay. Good. That's good. I'm so glad to hear that. He clasped a hand to his son's shoulder, attempting a smile, but the corners of his lips twitched and spasmed as if they wanted to wilt into a frown instead. Cove seemed to have that effect on him. Mr. Holden turned towards you, smiling weakly. I'm so happy you're all right too, Lewis. Then he looked at your moms. Thanks for your help, as always. He laughed pitifully.
I'm sorry.
And I'm sorry for ruining your afternoon with this. I can't apologize enough.
It's okay.
It was no trouble, Cliff, really. It couldn't be helped, in a way. Something was bound to happen sometime. Besides, he wasn't the only one who decided it was a good idea to disappear today. Exactly. We were just happy the kids are safe and sound. Not for the first time that day, you recalled your original meeting with Cove. He had run away then too, only not as far as he had today. Cove must have had a similar thought because he mumbled an apology. Sorry, Dad, I won't leave anymore. Promise. Some life seemed to return to Mr. Holden thanks to this promise. This time around, his smile was more genuine.
I'm so glad.
That's a relief to hear. Next time you feel like running off, come to me first, okay? We can talk about it. I'm here for you. Cove nodded. His dad reached out and mussed his hair playfully. Although he made a face, Cove didn't try to dodge the hand as he usually did. Let's go home, bud. I bet you're as tired as I am. Mr. Holden took over carrying Cove's backpack, still clasping a free hand on his son's shoulder when he stood up from the couch. The five of you walked over to the front door so you could see them off. Mr. Holden thanked your moms profusely, at least 3 more times before he walked out the door. Cove was made to follow. But he stopped and turned to you before stepping through the threshold.
Thanks.
Thanks, Lewis. You're welcome, Cove. A tiny smile flitted across his lips, there and gone. I hug him. Before he was gone, you reached over to give him a hug goodbye after a hard day. He held you back more tightly than you could have anticipated, and you almost squeaked out a noise. I'm glad you're here. His embrace was tight, but brief. He let go as soon as he said what he wanted to. And with that, Cove left. Mommy closed the door behind them. You were practically dead on your feet at that point. Your fatigue must have been obvious because your mom sent you right to bed with no more discussion on what happened that day. Once your head hit the pillow, your eyes slipped closed on their own. Your eyelids were so heavy you couldn't open them again until the next morning. You woke up much more at ease than you had felt when you were last conscious. It was almost like it was a dream. But it definitely wasn't. Your mom's faces when you saw them assured that. After breakfast, you were sat down and your family went over yesterday's events in full. They were none too pleased that you went out to find Cove on your own. As punishment, your mom took away your TV privileges for the next few days. Lizzie was annoyed that she couldn't watch her shows with you around, but she adjusted. Whenever you expressed disappointment, your moms reminded you that they weren't punishing you for no reason. It was dangerous to go out on your own so late, and without telling anyone. You could have gotten hurt, or worse. As upset as you were, you understood. Mr. Holden talked to Cove about what happened, too. You didn't know what was said exactly, but Mr. Holden forgave Cove immediately. He didn't do anything to punish Cove for running away. Probably not a good idea. He blamed no one but himself for Cove's desire to leave home. You caught your moms discussing it once in hushed tones, frowning at each other. It was pretty serious. There was a word used you hadn't heard before. Self-flagellation. But there wasn't anything they could do to change Mr. Holden's mind. Your neighbors stopped you and Cove often for the next week or so to express their concerns and disapproval of the event. Still, as they always did, days continued to pass. So did talk about Cove running away. Things eventually returned to normal, as they had to. Summer kept going and you kept having experiences you shared with Cove. And that was the runaway one. Oh boy. Ah. Save again. Oh. What a game. I really do find it like interesting and really nice, the differences that they have for however you set yourself to have a relationship with Cove. Having played the lowest tier where it's just a lot of you two not really liking each other, and then compared to this, like it's very significantly different, and God, you can really tell they put a lot of time into this and a lot of thought into it. I am very excited to see where this goes, and next time I stream, I'll probably try to actually get to Jeremy, maybe, and so maybe we won't do all of these, but I definitely will do more of them for sure before I skip over. With that said, I'm probably done for the day, I think. My voice is getting very tired, so I should probably stop before I make myself not feel good. But yeah, thank you very, very, very much to everyone who came and hung out with me today. I appreciate it a lot. I had a really fun time, and I will try to properly stream again more often, because it was fun. Alright. Well, I will see you all again next time, I'm sure. Hope you all have a good evening, day, whatever it is where you are. Thank you for joining. And I guess that's bye. Bye.
Hey, thanks for making it all the way to the end of this video. These videos on this channel are all archives of my Twitch streams, if you couldn't tell. So if you want to come join in on the fun live sometime, you can catch me at twitch.tv/smileybeanboy. I stream every Saturday at 11 p.m. Central Time, usually for anywhere between 2 to sometimes 4 hours, usually closer to 2. I'll put the link to it somewhere here and also in the description as well. Yeah. I also occasionally stream on other random days. Very much occasionally. It's mostly just Saturday. I post on Twitter whenever I'm going live as well, so if you want to, you can follow me there as well. Yeah. Other than that, thanks again for watching all the way through. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye.